Confidence in the things that I know. I have enough wisdom to see the logic will be shown. I got one chance to show you what I got. I got one chance to show I'm confident or not. Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, and the fools are running away. It's not what you say, it's only what you can prove. You better watch your step, you better mind your P's and Q's. You got one chance, show me what you got. You got one chance, show you confident or not. Don't get caught in the matrix of all of these fakers. Society's spinning, and I'm just here living on the ground. Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, logically thinking, and the fools are running away. You're flipping over backwards to show me where you think you are. Your model dictates that you never see too far. Shrinking in the distance, you can do fuck all with an angle, and the fools are running away.
Buster made me watch it.
Well,
And we are live. Welcome everybody. It's Free for All Friday. We were just having a little bit of a joke about the songs.
Some people should not be singing on songs ever.
Yeah,
well, you've heard.
we're not talking about Buster.
No. Well, you've heard, the whole. I mean, they have those specials, whether it's American Idol or British Idol or UK Idol or whatever. America's Got Talent. I mean, some people should just not sing.
Yeah,
I don't know if people tell them they're good or not.
Yeah,
Like,
your mother.
yeah, oh, you're really good.
Oh, little Johnny, you want to hear him? He sounds like an angel.
Me. No.
It's
So-
like this joke. It's like this joke. Do you like playing bridge? Yes, I like very much. So go and learn. The same thing with the singing. Do you like to sing?
That's
Yes,
funny
very much.
paper.
Yeah, Buster's forced us to all in the server to listen to a song today. Well,
Not
Buster,
me, I'm
Buster didn't
resisting.
force us to do it. Buster forced me and a few people early on to watch it, and I've been forcing everybody else to watch it.
Was it like? Is it comparable to? Here's some roadkill. You really got to look at Look at that roadkill over there.
Just look
Doesn't
at
it-
it.
It's like
Just look at
Buster.
it.
Yeah, Buster
Everybody
made me
should
listen to it.
experience it. Everyone should experience it. Honestly, if I had to, you all have to.
It did surprise me. Emmett had to listen to it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the first Free for All Friday of 2023. What a week to start off with.
Holy shit.
So
That's
good.
for sure. Yeah.
January the 6th. We're not even 1 week in, and we've started off from Monday. We're on the 5th day of our going over this, and OMG. What's happened?
Right.
Advanced simplicity has took over, but a certain group of people seem to not want us to do it. They don't want us to start doing this sort of stuff. Crazy. And some of the stuff we've got coming up, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but it just gets simpler. And I think we started all of these conversations off. These are only the beginnings of these conversations. This is literally at the very beginning, the basics. We build up from these basic facts, but already they don't want to accept that. I don't know. Is it that a horizontal is a straight line? Or that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular to each other? There's a massive problem for some people, but they seem unsure as to what it is that they're arguing against. They have no argument, just they're not that. But they're not that is either the horizontal straight line or the perpendicularity between vertical and horizontal. Seems a bit simple. I think last night as well we started off with an angle, some sort of an inkling of this angle that's equal. The circle of equal altitude. Is it equal or even altitude? The circle of even altitude? That doesn't sound right, does it? Or is it?
I heard equal, but I
Equal.
think it means the same.
Yeah, I
But I heard
do as well.
equal.
Yeah, I've heard that, equal, but I made a comment earlier suggesting that an even altitude is called a horizontal condition in some dictionaries when talking about level. Really strange. So how you can have a circle of equal altitude or even altitude that relies on an angle, I'm still struggling. I don't know how they can derive a circle from an angle. It almost seems fantastic. I don't know. I can't logically prepare my mind for how to derive a circle from an angle. But apparently some people do seminars and lectures on it. Who knows?
This lecture from Baby wasn't really about celestial navigation, so
No, last night, our mate Protothad that came in to try and explain celestial navigation has said he has done lectures on it. I think that's what his exact words were, lectures.
Didn't he also say he never went out in a sailboat and actually did it, though, right?
Well, I don't know.
I believe he said that.
How could you do lectures on something that you've never actually done? That seems a bit dishonest. I mean, that's like a teacher never have actually practiced what I mean,
It's like a teacher teaching shop class without ever building anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems ridiculous. I know how to use the tool. I've never used it.
Learning
I mean, it
piano.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Learning piano without playing piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Teaching music theory and not playing an instrument.
Well, I mean, that's what this year started off with. The vertical horizontal conundrum. I started off really with what I call the horizontal wally. That's the introduction to this conversation. The point A and a point B, and you orientating the line that goes in between them horizontally causes the confusion. And from there on in, all of these things seem to snowball on top of each other. Because I don't know whether people are aware of this or not, but within Euclid, there's quite a few axioms axioms and postulates, 15 in my book, that gets whittled down to 5. And you may ask, where did the other 10 go? That would be a good question. Unanswerable by anybody within this arena. And then, within that, they say one of these 5 that they've whittled it down to is problematic because it sounds a little bit different than all of the others. And that one particular thing is, I don't know, it's about perpendicularity. And it's about a triangle having 180 degrees and the position that the triangle is going to be formed within these 3 straight lines. That's the one thing that these guys can't actually have. But the one thing that they have to have, really, with perpendicularity of vertical and horizontal. It's going to get awfully tricky for a certain group of people. But hey, there's not many people watching. They don't need to know about this. Just keep it in our little group, all right? Don't let them know about it yet. We've got a year to have fun. Just stuck it in your back pocket and keep quiet. So anybody else got anything they'd like to talk about? Obviously, there's not going to be any model afflicted people coming in tonight because it's Free for All Friday. But has anybody got any things that have occurred during the week that maybe surprised you? Maybe the simplicity takes over. Some things that you didn't realise, maybe. I know that in the chats that we've been having within the Discord server, there's loads of penny drop moments that have been occurring within all of this.
That is a fact. Mm-hmm.
One of the main ones is about this 69 miles for 1 degree. Because some people seem to think that that has something to do with the vertical, but I'm not aware that it does. I personally don't think it has anything to do with vertical. It's just a measured angle change.
There's also
Way up. Was that me or was that for everyone?
Oh, that was SE.
Yeah, good. We'll wait for you, SE. It's not often that SEI goes through those sort of moments, is it? Are you back?
that-
Are you there?
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
You can. You're back.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I was just saying there seems to be.
Oh,
I
come
didn't want him to say it.
on.
Mobius let him borrow the robot button. That's what happened. The same thing.
Yeah.
As soon as he talks about something important, there it goes.
I roboted again.
Yeah, right.
Just when you started. Just when you started in.
Damn.
You started wrong topic.
Yeah.
Now we have to
It
hear it.
happened-
Try it again.
It happened to Mobius the other day. Every time he went to say anything important, it broke. Robot.
Damn, it doesn't happen to me a lot. Okay, I'll try it again. There seems to be a lot of confusion about the word flat lately.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't normally tend to go out into the arenas that you do. What would be the thing?
Some people think flat is an orientation.
Yes, for example,
that's been
QE,
for a bit,
flat
that, hasn't it?
flat level. Many times I have heard from him.
I haven't heard him say it, but I've talked with other people just yesterday, as a matter of fact, or the day before, and there seems to be some confusion that flat is, and simply put, you can have a flat floor, but you can also have a flat wall, right? Is the wall level or horizontal? No, but it's flat, right? That
You have a
seems to
flat-
be confusion lately.
They have a flat ceiling as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't understand the confusion with that one. I don't know why anybody would think it's an orientation.
That occurred at that time. We went over and had a word with Adam, and when Adam was drunk. Yeah, and that was it. Honestly, that was the first time that I ever heard or even thought that somebody might actually think that flat was an orientation. I was shocked, to tell you the truth. So that's still going on, is it? Who is it that has that problem?
Well, who was I having I think I was having a combo with George. His name is George.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You're from Nathan's Oakley?
I believe so, yeah.
So that would be a flat earther.
Yeah, he's a flat earther, for sure, yeah.
Did he acknowledge at least that vertical could also be flat?
Yes, yes.
Isn't that strange? That you admit that vertical could also be flat, but flat is an orientation. Flat and only an orientation when it's either in the vertical or the horizontal position.
Yeah, I think I got through to him when he mentioned, when he used the reference as a mirror about being flat. And I told him, okay, can you look at the mirror in front of you now, turn it any way you want. Because you change the orientation, right? Yes. Did the flatness of the mirror change? No. So there, I think he might have gotten it because this conversation ended after that.
I would say that you killed his argument.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Yeah. I mean, that's obvious, right? There's no disputing that, is there? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that the orientation conversation for flat should last that long. I mean, I'd been around for a few years before I ever heard anybody say that they thought flat was an orientation. And to be quite honest, it was QE.
QE is used many times, this expression flat level or flat and level. So he was using that like equivocally, I think. So that's him, but I don't know what he meant, but still, this is what I heard.
Yeah. I've heard this quite a few times right now. I think it comes down to a dictionary definition that in describing level, they say horizontal and flat as synonyms when talking about level and horizontal and flat, all three of them together. I think
I've seen that too.
Yeah, if you separate them, then flat is quite obviously a distinct thing on all of its own.
Yeah, it's obvious, but I understand how some people could get confused because you can look it up and you'll see it. It states it: flat, level, horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use your logic, you can easily discern that a flat wall is not horizontal or level, right?
Yeah, I think.
And you can have something that's horizontal and not flat. Yeah, flat shouldn't be included in that description.
Yeah. I mean, you can. You can
have something horizontal level and not be flat. As long as both ends are at equal elevation, it's horizontal.
Yeah, the points are orientated horizontally to each other.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't know, for anybody to push the idea that flat is an orientation on that basis, to me just sounds, well, it's not really an argument and you'd never get very far with it within argumentation as far as I'm concerned. So not only do I not use flat in argumentation, I most certainly wouldn't say it's an orientation. It just isn't.
Taken alone, it cannot be orientation. It is just nonsense. Because if you can ask someone, tell me orientation of this object. Okay, I will tell you, this is flat. So what you know now about orientation?
Exactly. Yeah.
It sounds like a Blue Marble scientific word, which about as vague as you could ever get.
Yeah, it's flat, but which orientation is it in? Is it vertical? Is it horizontal? Or is it somewhere in between? And if so, does it change the levelness of it? I mean, it's ridiculous even to say that, right?
Yeah, you could say to somebody, can you stick your hand inside of this opening here and feel the side of it? Can you tell me, does it feel flat or does it feel bumpy? How does that give you an orientation? Flat has nothing to do with orientation.
Yeah, yes. And flat doesn't change if you change orientation. It still remains flat.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
That's what the
I would
word
say
horizontal is for.
I would say that these two descriptions are completely separate.
Well, you
They-
can use them. You can use them all three at the same time, right? But
yes, but
as
that
long
would
as
be
you, yeah,
that would be coincidence, not
yeah, yeah.
just implication.
As long as you understand that one of them is not synonymous with the other two.
Correct.
Yes, one does not imply the second.
Yeah.
See, that's how quick that should be. Like, what else is there to say about that at the minute? I thought that had gone. Like, I honestly, I didn't even know it was an argument, and still recognize it as a ridiculous statement.
Yep.
However, I would still like to have the conversation of somebody that does imagine it is a valid argument or something, because I'd still be interested as to how somebody could think it might be.
I mean, to me, it's clear cut, straightforward, but I don't know. I guess it isn't to all.
There's so many different things I'd like to talk about, but purposely I'm holding back. There's so much stuff that we've gone through, so many conversations that we've had within the Discord. I don't know. I don't know how easy it would be to explain some of the stuff that we've been talking about today as a result of some of the conversations we had yesterday. There was one particular one that we had with Gadget this morning about the 69 miles and 1 degree. I was trying to get across that, what sort of picture do you imagine when you hear that 69 miles and 1 degree change? What changes by 1 degree?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Rob. You don't think flat's an orientation, do you, Rob?
No, because you can orient horizontal and have a flat surface, and you can have a wall that also appears flat on the surface.
What would be your understanding of the dictionary definition then, where it says level, horizontal, flat?
Well, that's the problem with adding flat in there, is because flat can also be attributed to a vertical. So kind of you don't really need to use the word flat.
You would say that flat belonging within that is a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
I would say that this is contextual. So sometimes you can use this word and it would be understood as level, but it is contextual. But in fact, these two descriptions are placed in different categories. So position would be orientation. That would be this category of position of the object, and flatness would be like more like shape.
Surface condition.
Yes, so there are two different categories. They can coincide or not, but it doesn't influence one another, each other. So I would say that they are separated. They may coincide, but not necessarily. So one does not imply the other. But sometimes in context, maybe someone can say that flat means level for him in some context, maybe.
Do you think there's a chance that the word has been altered, or that word has purposely been misplaced in there?
I was just going to say misappropriated. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so, yes.
There's two choices, really, isn't there? That flat did actually mean level and horizontal, and somebody's took it then to mean like a surface of a wall or something within the meaning. Or there's the other meaning where somebody purposely has put flat within level and horizontal to be able to confuse.
Or maybe it's just wrong usage of the word, but still it happens often, so it is used anyway, even if it is wrongly used. But dictionary has to deal with frequency of usage of the word, so maybe it is often used as such that flat is level, even if it is wrong. But if it happens often, dictionary may put this into dictionary because it is used that way. Wrong or correct doesn't matter. It is used, so they put it there.
It's used by who, though?
Mean level.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doug.
I would say,
That doesn't mean level.
Who does use it like that? I understand that the usage of the words are, you know, within the dictionary for common usage, but I've never heard anybody say that.
Either me, but I am just speculating that that would be the cause why they put it there.
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know.
If somebody asked you, did you flatten out the floor or did you level the floor? It's two completely different things. Because there could be waves in the floor that would need to be flattened out, but that doesn't mean that has any effect on whether it's level or not.
For me, they are two. For me, there are two separate things. For example, carpenter's level may be not flat at all, and still it shows level. So for me, they are not linked.
Well, I think Bev described it best as a surface condition. I think that's the best description of flat.
Yeah, I would say visual surface condition as well, because since you know that you can't link it to 2D, then you have to take it as an idea, but not as an orientation. I think the orientation is going a little bit too far. But willing to take on that there is let's say that they have misappropriated the word flat and turned it into something that it wasn't. What word would you replace it with? You know, like, what else is there out there? If you're going to say that flat is an orientation and therefore you cannot use it in any other orientation other than horizontal or level, what would you use in its place for a surface that's orientated vertical? Because if there is a word that should have been there for that, then they've done a bloody good job of hiding that word, haven't they?
How about straight?
Well, I mean, you could call it right,
Yeah.
but then you're not really allowing for any other position in between the two, which there obviously are. There's slopes and stuff like that, isn't there?
I don't have a problem calling a line on a plumb bob straight at all.
No, neither do I, but it's not an orientation, is it? You know, I'm saying
straight is definitely not an orientation.
If flat is an orientation, what word would replace flat for all of the other orientations of what you consider flat to be?
I don't know other words, so
Yeah. I think
have to invent.
Yeah, it's just like it's either been really well hidden or they've misplaced
I can only come up with smooth. That's the only word I could come up with. Smooth. But that doesn't really work, in my opinion.
For me too, because for me, smooth means that if you touch it, there is no resistance. So you can move your finger without without friction or something like that.
Yeah, without bumps and irregularities.
How about even?
Yeah, no, even's mathematical.
Yeah.
Meaning like the two even sides of a half, if you know what I mean. So then you would
it's like
have
duality.
To
implies dual. Yeah.
It implies a straight divider.
Even is like geometric term or arithmetic term. So let's say that, not vernacular.
What about anything else? I'm keen to get to the well, not to get to the, but to put an image in people's minds, or somebody to give me an image of what does 1 degree for every 69 miles, what image does that mentally conjure up? Because it's geometric. It's a geometric statement.
Doesn't that mean that the vertical's dropping?
No, I don't think so.
Isn't that what they mean? That we move 69 miles away from Polaris? Polaris drops by 1 degree?
Yeah. So that's the angle change.
The angle change, right.
Right. So that 69 miles, what's that look like?
I'm not following you, Bev.
Well, it's a distance, right? You have to move 69 miles away.
Correct.
And at one end of that 69 miles, you've got an angle that measures n number. Yeah? Let's say 30 degrees. And at the other end of the 69 miles, depending on whether you're going towards or away from, there's another angle measurement. Right?
That would be the 90.
No, it's just another, it's another angle. If the first angle was 30, then the second angle will either be 31 or 29, depending on whether you were going towards or away from. right?
I follow. Yep.
So what does that geometric picture look like?
2 lines.
It looks like a triangle, right?
No, it's 3 lines, isn't it? There's
Where'd you get the third one?
an angle.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You're measuring an angle at one
Right.
position and an angle at another position. So is there anything common about these lines that you're dealing with? I'll put a picture up, right? See if I can.
Yeah, they're all straight.
Yeah. Oh. Get these. Oh, can you see that?
Yep.
I did this. I just made use of the drawing I did the other day. Right, so you've got A and B. And there's an angle measured at A and an angle measured at B. And then you've got a distance between these 2 points. I've called it horizontal there because it has to be at the same elevation whenever you're doing this. It's one of the, the requirements of this is that you are at the same elevation at each point, A and B. And then you've got an angle measured at A and an angle measured at B. And there's a 1 degree change within that angle. Is that the picture that you had in your mind?
What you have on the board? No.
Oh. How is it different?
But
I probably picture wrong, but I just picture like if I was starting, and nobody ever does this, starting under Polaris, establishing that angle right there, and then walk or traveling 69 miles in any direction. So I would have that vertical, at my starting point, what I would consider a starting point, the ground position of Polaris, and then start to move away. That's what I picture in my head. But how do I measure the angle to the Polaris? Okay, tell me where I'm wrong, Bev.
It's just an angle. You
Right.
can imagine that it's 90 degrees there if you want, although no, that's never been shown.
Correct.
Right, but you could then say 69 miles and for 89 degrees.
Right.
Couldn't you?
Yes.
What would be different? You've just got an angle at each end that changes by 1 degree. Did you imagine that the vertical would change by 1 degree?
No, it means distance. Whatever it is, it has to be fixed.
69 miles is the distance, isn't it?
Yes, horizontal, but if you are prolonging this line,
you could go again, couldn't you? It's a linear. It's a linear. You could just go for another 69 miles. What happens? 1 degree change again. And off you go again. Another 69 miles. Boom. 1 degree. Like you could just carry that on. As far as I'm concerned, that's the way geometrically. That's the way I see it.
Yes, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sorry, that only works local. Sorry, I'm a baller now. That only works local.
69 miles, though. I mean, how could they? They literally say that themselves. And then what the clever trick is to say, well, 60 nautical miles. It's like, what's that? Well, that's because then you can just divide it by 1. Divide it by 60 and say minutes. 1 minute is equal to 1 nautical mile. Well, a nautical mile is just reference to an angle. That's ridiculous statement to put that way. But when you mark it like this, because I think that's where the confusion comes. Within an argument, like we were talking, let's say, we were talking to a guy called Protothad last night, and he was talking about celestial navigation. Now, within his celestial navigation, it's on the water, so you don't bother talking about the 69 miles, you say 60. And that's all related to an angle. It's backtracked to an angle. Whereas this is how it was actually measured. You had to be on the land. They measured 69 miles, and you had to be at the same elevation. If a horizontal is not the same elevation, what is? It's one of those words. If you're not going to have flat as an orientation, and you're not going to have horizontal as an orientation, or equal, even altitude, then how is it different than this? Because to me, that's about as simple as you can get this. 69 miles, 1 degree change of the angle measured at each end of the horizontal. 15 and 16 degrees I put on there earlier. But I mean, everybody thinks that. Or did everybody else have some other different idea about it? People I've talked to did have a different understanding, because I don't think anybody's ever showed them the simple geometric version of how this works.
Does that same angle measurement carry on to the land?
That is the land. That's where it was initially measured, 69 miles. Actual miles.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, if you go east and west, you still come up with the same angle, don't you?
I don't know. You have to go away and towards it. That's how the story goes.
Because you're basically looking in like a rectangle, a big rectangle, to see the light in the sky, and going up and down on this end shouldn't change that angle. It changes the other two angles on the other end, but not where you're standing. You should still see the same 15 degrees between the two, right?
I wouldn't know. I mean, this is the thing, right? Everybody states this, but who's actually done this? I know I don't. I don't measure angles to the lights in the sky at all, ever. I've looked through a sextant, right? And I know how a sextant works, but again, I've never measured an angle to a light in the sky. And I've particularly never measured 69 miles horizontally on the land. Go on, sorry.
I think that this is job of astronomers. So I think that they are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing that, measuring angles to the stars.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the land was already surveyed. It was measured. They knew where every place was. They knew the roads. They knew the fact that you had to stay at the same elevation. So obviously the elevations were already mapped and measured. So you knew that you could just go from here to here and then measure an angle to a light in the sky. And they say it changes by 1 degree. That's the geometric drawing that will be drawn, with the direction of that horizontal 69 miles being either towards or away from that light in the sky. But that's it. One light in the sky. It bears no relevance or anything to the land. It's just an aside that once they've measured the land and measured the 69 miles and measured the equal elevation of the land, then the angle can be measured, and the angle changes by 1 degree. What does that mean?
This is visual angle, because this is I am repeating myself many times, but this is just perspective drop. The star is not dropping. It is because our sight works that way, that objects which are going away from us in a straight line, horizontal line, let's say, they are going down in perspective. So this is very well known fact, but this is it. This is just perspective.
Yep. Switch that thing off now. Yeah, I don't really want to go into what we imagine it to be, because, say, we stick it to the simple stuff at the beginning. The rest of those conversations can come at different times. But yeah, I think that's where we want to be going. The understanding of this, what we call the horizontal wally. It's based around the idea that that line, or that the discussion will be based around that line, that horizontal line, having an angle measured at each end of it. Obviously, the horizontal line can be extended, as horizontal lines can be. I just find it interesting that I don't know whether many people had that idea of how it works.
I do know how it cannot work. It cannot work with a bendizontal. That's for sure. Because if you have bendizontal, you are changing your angle without changing distance. So you have to add distance and curvature of this bendizontal. So you would have just wrong reading. So that would be not 1 degree per 69 miles, but 2 degrees. Because you have to add this curvature. So horizontal distance plus curvature itself. So that would be 2 degrees.
Curvature of what?
Bendizontal.
Yeah, curvature of horizontal. That sounds a little bit ridiculous.
Yes. That's why it cannot work with this globe mathematicians, whatever they call it, this celestial navigation, globe celestial navigation. It cannot work.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that, you know, the simpleness of the geometry leaves I don't know. Like, I talked about this, the two people so far. Well, today, not you guys, and both of them had different idea of what the geometric picture looks like, but was sort of unable to show what the geometric picture would have looked like.
Most people envision a plane and they're standing there and they do an angle and then they go on a book gives them a distance, the GP, they draw a line to it, and from there they make a circle. This is what they have in their brains. And then they take another angle, they get another GP, they draw another circle. That's how I would imagine, but then again, how could I go in their brains? But all the demonstrations I see, that's what they show. A plane, a point, an angle, then a GP, then a circle.
Yes, that's what I understand from they're talking about celestial navigation. That they have this GP and at given time. So because this GP of the star is at given location at given time, because the star is moving. If we are talking about not Polaris, only Polaris is fixed. So other stars are changing location because they are rotating. So that's why, as I understand, they need time for that, because this GP of the star at the certain location is only at given time.
Yeah, down to the second, as a matter of fact. You have to be that precise using that method.
But, like, I don't want to put a downer on it, but you do only have an angle.
Yeah, of course.
And as we all know, you can do fuck all with an angle. Whether you have a time and all of these other elements, right? You might even have a funky dance to go with it, right? It's still not going to embellish the fact that you can do fuck all with an angle. So the reason I've never been into this further point is because in order for you to get me into that next part, I have to know what the fuck I'm doing with an angle. Because even when I know here that, right, you travel 69 miles and you can measure an angle change 1 degree. What does that mean?
Alone, nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing. It just means you can travel 69 miles and the light in the sky drops. Changes by 1 degree. Now, I've never known anybody that keeps measuring 69 miles as they're going towards it and eventually ends up with the light in the sky above their head. And then they can keep going 69 miles and it starts dropping in the opposite direction. I don't know of where that occurs.
Considering Polaris, I would say that it is not checked yet, I think, because I don't believe these stories about going to North Pole and etc. But still, it is possible to have this zenith at different stars. So, for example, you are in the middle of Africa and you have this zenith star X, for example. This at this time, this star is at zenith. So you can know that in the middle of Africa, which this position is known, measured, etc., and we know that this star is at zenith at that time. So it is possible. You cannot have practically a zenith of Polaris, but other stars, I would say yes. Why not? On the land.
Like I say, I wouldn't know because I can't see the point in measuring angles to lights in the sky. Because, you know, it's just an angle. And yeah, you could have a relationship of the lights in the sky, but they move. All of the other ones. So I don't know how you'd reference them.
All this is man observing the lights in the sky. Now, the lights in the sky have a certain pattern. It's been observed throughout millennia. They repeat every year over and over again. And men have used those lights in the sky to navigate. It's not more complicated than that. Now, the current system that they use, somehow, they think it's special or something, you know? But it's not.
Yes, I am with you. I think that it doesn't change. It's the same. They maybe some calculations are more let's say advanced or accurate, whatever, but the method is I will say that the same.
I just thought it was interesting that all 11 lights in the skies that they use are in the north.
Well, I think they use 45 stars for this current celestial navigation, which is a British invention, by the way. Those damn British.
Invented what?
The almanac.
All right, the angles to lights in the sky.
Yeah.
Sounds like a load of people that are completely obsessed with measuring angles to lights in the sky. And like I say, the geometric value of it is limited. It's just an angle. Now, if that angle is as I drew earlier with a horizontal, then the difference is your perception of what you imagine is going on. If it's different than that, then how is it different than that? I would say it's not up to me or us to work out how it's different. I mean, you can try and work it out for yourself if you want.
Well, the Polynesians had coconut navigation. They did pretty good. They managed to explore a lot of water, a lot of islands. Hawaii is one of them. New Zealand, Easter Island, form a triangle there. All that land, all that water actually was explored by them. And guess what? They didn't have no magic book, or shall we call it nautical almanac. They didn't have that at all. And they did pretty damn good.
Who was first? Who was the first guy that went out in a boat, traveled away from their coastline, and logged all this stuff? That's the question I always go back to. And made it back safely to tell everybody how this shit works. You know,
Well, I was gonna go with who's first. I thought the first one got ripped out by a rip current.
that's what I don't get. How did it first happen? The first guy or woman or whatever crew that did it for the first time. You know, I could see traveling along the coastline, keeping land in sight, but you know, what would make you say, "Hey, there must be something else out there," and we will just go in that direction? And how did they say, "Okay, now we can use the stars to plot our direction"? How do you come up with this stuff for the first time? That's my question.
I think that the first were Argonauts.
Jason and the
Jason.
Argonauts.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm sure they were before them. I'm sure there were people before them.
Thinking the earliest ones I can remember is the Phoenicians, right?
Oh, you hear that for sure.
How about the Chinese? How about the Indians? The Polynesians? Guys, come on. Don't limit your things.
How do
I
you know
think-
how far back it goes?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think they all traveled, but we have just some scripted, let's say, testimonies or whatever, or stories about that. Few of them, not all of them. Just it.
You know that when the Europeans started venturing out into the ocean, everybody thinks the Europeans were such good navigators, but there were people around before them that were way better than they were. And then, of course, the Europeans got really, really good at it. But yeah, there were people before them, way before them.
Did it start with just two, SE?
Sorry?
Did it start with just two people, in your opinion? Our existence? Did it start with Adam and Eve?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a
Because
sage question.
however it started, if there was just two, and to multiply to what we are today with all the different names and stuff, it baffles me. It baffles me.
Personally, two doesn't make sense. Like, yeah. Just because of the genetic, we know if intermarital relations, we know that deformations occur, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So how could it possibly have started with two people?
Yeah, that's one of my questions.
And just the fact that we have Caucasians, we have Africans, we have Asians, we have Central Americans, we have all these different type of races.
We have French Canadians.
French Canadians, yeah.
Just joking, I see.
So the two thing, that doesn't make sense at all. That most certainly is not true, in my opinion.
If you assume that this genetics is true, I don't.
If you assume what?
Because you are referring to this genetics, because according to genetics, I just don't adhere to this genetics. For me, this is just bullshit, pseudoscience.
So you think like a sister and brother can marry and have and keep lines like that going on, intermarriages without deformations? You think that's not true?
It's according to the Bible, of course, it was that way. I don't know about deformation, but I don't adhere to this explanation that this would cause genetic deformation. So for me, this is pseudoscience. But I don't know if these deformation would occur. Probably yes, but not because of genetics. But
Right. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
enough about it to really say. I'm just going by hearsay, right?
I mean, if it happened that way, you would have no one to have sex with besides your relatives.
Exactly. So how could a population start with 2 people? It doesn't make sense.
I was just going to
not-
say, when it was flooded, it started back over with 6, didn't it? With the family of
with
Noah?
8, with 8.
8, okay.
Oh.
That still doesn't make sense. Were they
There's a lot of-
Asians? Were they Asians? Were they Caucasians? Were they African? What were those 8?
8, Noah and his 3 sons with wives.
Let me guess. All Caucasian, all maybe of the Jewish descent, maybe?
Yes, so this is what Bible says. Yes.
So you see
Yeah.
how it's complete
Well,
and utter nonsense, right? And I don't mean to demean anybody that believes. Yeah.
I just going to say 12 tribes were scattered, and you got 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the west, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south. So the 12 tribes is many peoples.
That makes more sense, but were they all of the Israeli, of the Jewish, shall we say?
Those defects you were talking about?
Yeah.
You don't think those would attribute to the fact that we do have different races now? Or, well, not races, but ethnicities could be defects in the system.
Well, if you want to call a different race a defect, I wouldn't.
No, there is
I
no
would
different
say-
race. There is no different races.
Right.
There's one
I agree.
human race.
Well, maybe I used the wrong word. What word would you use then? How would you describe an African to a Mediterranean, let's say, or a Northern European?
I would
Mutations,
disagree.
genetics.
For me, race is not. This is not specific. Human, not genus, but species. Just human species. Humans are species, one species, and it can be divided into races or whatever, like dogs. This is one species, but many races of dogs or horses or whatever. So the same with people, I think. One species, many races.
That does make sense.
I'll say it one more time. Mutations in the genetics through early inbreeding. Yes. Yes. It explains.
So you're going with evolution then, Rob. You're going with the evolution.
No. Adaptation. I'm with adaptation. You think I'm an evolutionist? Come on now, SC.
All right. I don't know. I just can't see how, because this started of can the human population species start with 2 people, right? And I said no to that, and then we led to this. So
I would say that this is not impossible.
With 2.
Technically, it is not impossible. You can't say that. So it can happen that it could start from 2 people, like man and woman, and this is not plausible, but technically it is possible. Why not?
I guess anything is possible, I guess, but I don't know. Personally, I just can't see it. I think every different race was created like that. Now, I'm sure there's mixes and that happen in between, right? Like an Asian could marry a Caucasian, and there'll be a mixture there. But I think they were created separately. That's what I think. It's just my opinion.
I generally had no opinion
I'm
on
okay
that.
with that, SC.
I
You can
can
think that.
I just only believe that what Bible says about that is true, because in Bible there are some things that are uh, mm, like analogies or allegories, but this first, let's say, this genealogy of people, first people, are described very precisely. So it is written the name of the guy and at which age he, let's say, produced his this one son, and when he died, so we can know how long he lived, and so we can make this chronology from that, and it is no purpose to write that in the Bible. No practical purpose. I would say that this is only for people to know how it really started, because otherwise it has no sense to write it down. If you read the Bible, Genesis first, so it is just genealogy to the flood, and from flood, from Noah, etc. It's just genealogy of whole humankind. So
How many Asians were on the boat? How many Asians were on Noah's boat?
No, it was Noah and his 3 sons with wives. So 8
How many
people.
Africans were on?
Hang on. This is why I was kind of trying to tell SE what I was thinking. Look, there's 6 people on the boat, right?
8.
Yeah, they had to intermingle in their family, which created genetic defects, which turned out people looking a little different.
No,
And
I
then they split
understand
off,
what you're
and
saying.
then they split off and went their own ways and continued to intermingle in their own defects, becoming Asians, Africans, and whatnot. That's what I believe.
Yeah, fair enough, Rob.
For me, this is
Nobody
plausible.
really knows.
For me, this is plausible explanation, but still, for example, I would say that this is some digit of God here, because Asians or Chinese, they have specific skin, which is they have on their skin more fat, so they their faces are more smooth than let's say European, and it fits the conditions they live and they lived. So I would say that this is not just accidental change in their appearance. So I would say that, and in Africa, black people, they are more fit to live in that kind of conditions. So
And also, initially, I would assume these people all spoke the same language, wouldn't you think?
if Adam was one, so he spoke one language, I think.
However, we started. I mean, languages. Everybody didn't come up with a different language. That say that group of 8. I mean, why would languages have changed so drastically if everybody spoke the same language initially?
Yes, if one was one language according to the Bible, and in the Bible is explained how it happened.
Yeah, with the Tower of Babel, I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that would be purposely done by God,
Yeah.
to confuse people, because
Well,
they
it does
aimed.
make sense.
because they wanted to reach the God or reach God.
They thought they were.
They
They
wanted
thought they
to
were God.
be
They thought
God.
they were.
Yes, yes. So God says, no, no, no. I will mix you up. I will mess with you, and you will not achieve your coordinated effort, because it was coordinated effort. So God make it not coordinated. So it caused the mess, and they failed. So that's the Bible story.
Correct. It seems like
Which you don't have to believe if you don't want to.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
of
can't
course.
argue with
Of
a
course.
belief. You can't argue with a belief.
Correct.
It's futile. Yeah.
Yep. I will say though, the way it was explained to me that made plausible sense from the quote unquote Adam and Eve was, if God had created them, right? If that's true, then He would have created them perfectly with absolutely perfect DNA and all of the required DNA for all of the subsequent species that would have happened.
Well, that's a lot of eggs in one basket there.
Yep.
But if
Yes,
God is what they say he is, I guess that's very possible.
I heard that also in school. Yes. So,
Yep.
but of course, for me, this is extrapolation, because it puts this genetics like before creation. So, because of genetics, the human race was created that way. So for me, this is just upside down. Genetics is new for me, pseudoscience, and it's just for support evolutionism. That's it, because Darwin could not explain how species are turning into different species, and no one could. And genetics is one of attempts how to explain evolution. So that's it, and I reject it that way.
Paper's right. There's absolutely no record of any evolution anywhere in fossil record. I've been challenging ballers for years. There is nothing, no proof, zero of evolution of any kind.
Yep.
Of one animal turning into another animal.
Agreed.
Zero.
But as Rob says, there is adaptation, right?
Yes.
I mean, I experienced that myself because I grew up in the Northeast, and winters were never that severe for me, right? I could go out in the cold and be fine. When I moved to Texas, it didn't take very long, but cold really bothers me now, far more than it did when I lived in the Northeast. So my body has adapted to be in a warmer climate.
That's age, that.
No, it wasn't that long ago that I lived in the Northeast. Or else I would say that.
Well, that's acclimatization. How do you call it? Best not to talk with food in your mouth, right?
Hey, you can do that. It's fine.
I can't say it even without food in my mouth.
Acclimation? Is that what you're trying?
Acclimatization.
Something like
Acclimatization. Acclimatization. I vote for acclimatization.
That's the one.
I know it's free for all Friday, so I'm going to jump in and say someone needs to find J-Ro and help him out.
Where is he?
Not entirely sure.
Okay. Let me drop off this dino I just did for. I don't know how good it'll be for a boss fight, but we'll see.
I think we should make some
yes.
GPS units.
Yeah, I
Yes.
probably need some of those.
Kev,
Yep.
look above the bridge. How do I let go of an Archaeopteryx without dying?
Are you flying?
Yeah, I'm stuck gliding with it. I
Oh,
can't.
jeez. I have no idea. I've never done it.
I can't get down.
Oh man.
Got no down. It's just hovering.
Oh yeah, that's probably not good.
No.
Did
I
you
mean, I
try?
can control where he's going, but
And you tried the A button, like it landing? Or are you gonna fall?
not like a landing.
Oh, I see you. What the hell?
I can throw it, but then I'm gonna fall.
You got a parachute.
Not a parachute. It's a fucking bird.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you got a parachute, though.
No.
Can you not head to the mountain? Somewhere that...
That's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, what's this bit over here? There's a little high bit here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get. I don't know whether I'll actually hit it, though.
I'm right over the top of it here, the high spot.
Just gonna miss it.
You should be able to drop though, shouldn't you? You'll not hurt yourself.
But you can have that fucking bird.
Anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to redeem myself.
Okay.
It's called acclimatization.
Yeah, acclimatization.
Yeah.
I was just making a brew while you were going over that.
Yeah, I couldn't say it
If
properly.
you spend 100 years squinting, your eyes will stay like that.
Now, going from that to changing of a skin color.
Imagine living for 600 years. How much change do you think your skin would endure if you lived for 600 years?
Where? In the sun, for example? Okay, here, let me kill that right away for you, okay? In
I don't know if
Africa,
you'll
in Africa, you have Arab people living there, and you have Africans living there, black Africans, right? Why did the sun affect them differently, their skin?
genetic mutations. Some melatonin in your skin might not be as predominant as in the other people near you.
Yeah, but there would be some people within that group where the melatonin was. I mean, the Arabs, their skin tone is pretty much.
Okay. Why do you have light-skinned Africans and you have
Can I just say
black?
melatonin is a completely different thing?
Okay, I may have said the wrong word, but it starts
Yeah,
with
yeah,
an M.
sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Melanin,
Thank
right?
you.
Melanin, yes.
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
So you didn't kill it.
But internally, we're all exactly the same, are we not? Besides male and female.
Well,
Yeah, how did I
exactly.
not kill it, Rob? How did I not kill it?
The melanin.
Yeah, but we
Some
were
have
talking about
But what I mean,
what.
well, what I mean, in Africa, you have the Africans that are really, really, really dark, but you also have Africans from the same lineage that aren't so dark.
That's my whole point, bro. If they all live in
Yeah.
the same area and climate had anything to do with it,
I
everybody in
never
Africa would be black.
I never said it was climate.
Oh, okay, then
I'm
maybe I
still going with
misunderstood.
genetic mutations. And mutations aren't always bad. They're just different.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I don't think anybody really knows.
No, I'm not saying I know. I was just telling you what I believe.
Well, I hear you, brother. Respect. Yeah, and same here. It's only what I believe.
So are we
But
here
as
to
far
learn
as
something? Are we here to learn something, or are we here just to collect stuff?
I learn, obviously, for me anyway.
Yeah. But most of the majority of people are here, it seems, just to collect who can collect the most stuff.
Yeah. I'm here for my basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Not here.
Not in here in this room, but here.
Yeah.
I got you, Bev.
Say, I don't know what to say then, Rob, if that's what you're here for.
All right, Rob, I'm gonna lay the biggest question on you. Ready?
Okay.
Why are we here? Tell me, Rob, why are we here?
You're not gonna like my answer, but we're here for the creator's enjoyment.
I actually like that answer, and I wasn't expecting that answer, to be honest with you.
I don't know how I came out with that so fast, but it's something I know. That's all I can really reason. Because
If you were,
what purpose do we have?
Creator enjoys seeing us suffer?
No. No, he doesn't enjoy us suffering.
That's a good question.
But sometimes we need to be taught a lesson.
I have no argument about that.
So somebody should suffer arthritis for 20 years of pain, for example.
What is the cause of arthritis?
It doesn't matter. The creator could have made it so you wouldn't get these things. You wouldn't suffer. You wouldn't need an operation. You wouldn't go blind. Babies wouldn't be born with leukemia or cancer, or I don't want to go on and on.
You know, but do you think those are God's fault or man's?
Good point.
What I've always said is, who says he didn't create that in the beginning? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the story, right? That man chose to live in a fallen world and everything that comes with it, including the disease and everything else.
But you
think
get to
somebody would
experience life.
You think somebody would choose disease and that?
Well, were they told that the consequence would be disease and pain and everything else, or were they deceived into thinking that they'd be like God?
Good question there.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you can be sold a bill of goods pretty damn easy, can't you?
Oh yeah, I know exactly where you're heading.
Right?
Has to do with an apple. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever, right?
Be sold anything that may or may not be true, right?
Yep. And people buy it. People buy it, don't they? Don't they?
Yeah.
They buy it hook, line, and sinker.
Absolutely.
Yeah, checks out. Checks out.
All on the skill of the salesman.
Yep. And if you have a really, really, really good salesman, oof, you'll be buying that full car warranty in a heartbeat.
And if the salesman can educate you as well, then woo, he'll be able to sell you any old shite.
Do you think we could live in a world where lies didn't exist, where we knew who everyone was when we came in contact with them? Could we live in that kind of a world?
Sure.
I
It's
still
coming
do.
soon.
Yeah.
AI.
No, I'm talking about really knowing people. Who you are when you are alone is who you are. And knowing that by coming in contact with someone else, knowing who they are. No lies can be hidden from you.
Yeah. It's happening now, John. Technology is going to allow that to happen. People are going to know exactly what everybody does every second of every day.
But you don't, you never know your true emotions unless they find a way to detect that as well.
Yeah. Well, you just think about AI. Get a chip or something going on, gather some data. They already know how to map the brain to tell, what kind of emotions people are feeling. Done tests like that for decades.
I don't know if they'll ever accomplish that one. I don't know if I'm on board with that.
I don't know either.
God, I think he would make us undecodable.
I don't know either.
Pie.
But yeah, maybe so. But who knows what people are going to allow themselves to, get into, so to speak.
You know what I think a major problem is that people are looking for answers so badly that they'll tend to accept explanations from people, whether be it in the religious or scientific field or
How about this, Jesse? The questions that they like to ask are the questions they don't need answers to.
Who's the they in that case, Rob?
The people that SE was talking about.
Yeah.
Ask SE who those people are.
the people that are looking for answers so badly that they cannot accept that some questions will never be answered. In other words, you're going to go to your grave not knowing a lot of the questions that may be the most important questions to you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I think we've run into some of those people just this week, right? They are unwilling to accept epohe. Unwilling completely. The possibility that you cannot know. And being okay with it. Being at peace with it.
No, they have to know.
Yeah. It's a driving force, right?
Yeah.
And what's worse, they think there's somebody out there that actually does know, actually does have the answer. That's the killer of it all. And they'll follow that person to the end.
Yeah, because that person
I agree with
gave
that.
them the answer they wanted. We got any other mechanics in the building?
Nope.
I used to dabble.
I'm changing a turbocharger in a big diesel pickup truck.
I never
and it
did
is
that.
the shittiest job that there is. Because I don't know if you've ever lifted a turbocharger. This thing weighs probably 50 pounds. And I gotta put it in the motor. Like I have to put it in the motor and try and hold it there and bolt it up. by
Oh,
myself.
yeah.
So I'll be on mute for a bit. I'm about to put this thing in.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
No kidding.
Good luck.
I'll show it. I'll show it to you real quick.
Get your idea of that, Rob.
I gotta
Listening.
put that in
Get your
here.
idea to get that up there.
I sit up on the motor and then but the problem is it hangs off the motor right there.
Get your 2
And I've
pieces
already-
of rope. Hello.
Oh, yeah, I hear
Get
you.
two-
I'm listening.
Get your 2 pieces of rope. Once you get it down at the bottom, tie your rope off. Find you a piece that you can link to the motor. Tie it off there. Pull up one side. Pull up the other side. Tie it off. There you go.
Actually, you know what? That might work. That might work to hold it up there.
It
'Cause
sounds like I changed turbo.
I got a loop. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Red to the rescue.
I just changed my turbo the other day. Well, a couple weeks ago.
That's a good thing for Rob to for me to give him an analogy. Picture your turbo that you're putting on now, right? Now take one piece out of that. Pick a piece, any piece, and take it out. Will it work? Don't answer me now, Rob. Don't answer. Don't. I know you're busy, but yeah.
Yeah, he's like, fucking hell.
No, see, Essie, I was up, standing up on the steps, about to drop it in, and then you said, "Oh, fuck." Yeah, but I never said that. Hang on, bro. I never said that mutation was.
Sorry, bro.
I never said mutations removed pieces.
Yeah, but how can you picture that piece now mutating? Wouldn't it have to be done all at the same time? The cast, the inner parts, everything. Can you imagine that manifold mutating into something else? That
You're trying to tell me that the turbocharger in my hand is like a human being. Come on,
well,
man.
I'm trying to give you an analogy, bro, like a machine, right?
Saying this machine that I'm about to put in the car, if I took a piece out that stopped it from working, that's not the same as a mutation in a human.
Yeah, but how could a car mutate into what can a like? Can the car work without the engine, the wheels, everything, all the pieces? Can you drive it down the road without all the pieces?
No, humans are not like machines in that sense.
Sure we are, bro. If you're not born with a mouth, eyes, ears, a brain, a digestive system, all at the same time, how can you survive? How can you walk, talk, hunt?
Okay, so we have people born without limbs, right?
People born without what? Sorry?
We have people that are born without limbs.
Yes.
Are they still a human being?
Yes.
And they're still alive, right? But they're
Yeah.
mutated. Okay, that type of mutation could be a piece missing out of their turbo.
Yeah, I see how you're looking at it, but I don't understand what you. I don't think you fully understand. Here, let's bring it down to a mousetrap, right?
No, let's talk about human beings and their genetic mutations.
Yeah, but you have to understand what I mean in order to continue the conversation, bro.
You were just trying to take parts of their DNA out and saying they won't work anymore.
I'm trying to explain to you, and I'm probably doing a bad job of irreducible complexity. In other words, a machine cannot function without all of its parts. You cannot evolve. In other words, you can't. A mousetrap cannot have a board and then evolve a spring and then evolve the cheese. You understand? All those things have to be there in order for it to work.
And in the beginning, they were all there.
By the way, this mutations are supposed to be completely accidental.
Yes, I would have to think that there would have to be some kind of outside influence in order to cause those mutations, don't you think, Rob? Some change in the environment or something?
Having sex with your sister.
What genetics says, they are accidental. So only accidental. So no purpose, no goal to achieve, just simple accidents.
And that's what they're described as, accidental mutations. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
I'm sorry, but I have to step away and get this turbo done. I'm sorry.
No worries, we'll take it up another time, bro.
I see, I really like this conversation and where it goes, but dang it, not now. I gotta get this turbo done. I don't want to be here working on it tomorrow.
I hear you, bro. I won't say another word on this. I promise you. You'll listen in peace.
No, I'm gonna go to YouTube because I get too triggered.
I
love you guys.
Love you too, Rob.
Same, bro. I like Rob. He's good.
He's great.
Bungee cords. There you go.
You hear Red with his advice there? Huh? Got a mechanic and another mechanic in the house.
Red's like a street mechanic.
Yeah, jack of all trades kind of mechanic.
You could say he does it for fun, but I wouldn't really call it fun, would you? Don't know.
Hey, if you can give advice to Rob, and Rob is a professional, I mean, you know your stuff.
It's been a fun week, right? And if this is the start of first week, I'm hoping people are going to get on board with the simplicity, because it does follow. There is a few steps that we go to most of the arguments that we've ended up having. Well, I don't say whether we've ended up having arguments. Discussions that we've ended up having.
It's definitely been an interesting week.
Yeah, I think, considering the way the conversation goes around it and the way that people have been avoiding certain conversations, that seems to have ended this week, the beginning of the year. Yeah, I found it sort of eye-opening. The simpler we've made the arguments, the simpler, well, the more people have started talking now. I don't know what the idea is, whether the budget doesn't go that far and like they can only afford flat earth math at the beginning of the year, because that's the only time we ever really see him. don't know whether he's some sort of a specialist, but that was a bit of a hit job that got done after our first discussion about vertical and horizontal. And then from that, we had a guy telling us he's been lecturing seminars about celestial navigation, and still not none wiser about what they do with the angle. We did have a pretty good discussion about it today. About, you know, what the idea of this circle of equal altitude and what it means. Still have no geometric understanding, really. It all seems a bit impossible to me, geometrically. Redmond sending the pictures in. It's a bit of an early night. Nobody want to come in with anything? Been some good conversation so far.
It's free for all.
Yeah. It's difficult for people to come and talk, especially well, let's say the blue marble scientists, the people that have a problem with the fact that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. Yeah, my bird's over here. I'm over here. I'm feeding the guy over there.
This navigation stuff is being really talked about, triggering a lot of people. Like Professor Phil Bell, he has like over 100 messages on one of the videos that I put out.
Really?
Going back, yeah.
Phil Bell. What,
Professor Phil Bell, yeah.
What's he a professor of? Do you know?
I don't really know. No.
Do you know which university or whatever he's a professor of? Or do you reckon it's just like a YouTube character name? Not actually a professor. Like Dave. Like that other dude.
You think something like that? I don't know.
I think so. I think they're just YouTube character names. I don't believe that Phil Bell is a real professor. I believe him to be a professor like Dave, which we all know is a not professor.
Dave most certainly is not a professor. He said it himself.
Yeah. So I think Phil is a professor like Dave.
Phil's speciality is satellite launching, apparently.
Yes. On Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom meetings, we do that. Yeah, see, now I don't believe anything like that. Or unless you want to make a mockery of the entire thing, then that may be the purpose of it. I think that we're in a little bit at the minute where confusion, the element of confusion, is being thrown around, and that particular thing of putting somebody who's obviously not a professor going around telling people that they're the authority on certain things. Yeah, I think that just adds to confusion that people are going to have to deal with. Because he's had a few comments. See, I don't tend to get that many comments on videos unless when people like Mike start talking to people. But I think Phil's had a few comments on a few videos, and you know, we did a proof for proof series with Phil where we came up with actual proofs and we went proof for proof.
I vaguely remember something like that.
Yeah, he had Euclidean geometric proofs, and we were going through a series of them, and he stopped just before the last one. For some
And that's
reason.
when he stopped coming around, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when he was giving us Euclidean proofs, the same as we were giving him. So we were doing a proof for proof, but he was giving us Euclidean proofs also. And I think that goes to show just how bad the confusion is that goes on here. And how most people, including the people within the arena, aren't aware of the actual argument that is being talked about. There's a lot of non-arguments and there's a lot of confusion being thrown around. For what purpose? Who knows? Who can tell why anybody does whatever they do? But hopefully this year will be the year of advanced simplicity. Having a word with Gadget. Oh, he's gone to work, hasn't he? And they sort the video for Buster out, but I've got an idea to make it into a pretty good video from those of us within the server. Anyway, we can incorporate the advanced simplicity into the video then. Let's have a chat. I've had a word with Gadget. Hopefully we can get a nice drawn piece for it.
Yeah, shout out Gadget, the artist.
He's a YouTube mod and artist.
Yes.
YouTube moderator first. phenomenal artist. Do you know what I've asked him to see if he can do?
What?
Vitruvian Man.
What?
Yeah, have you never seen Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man?
Oh, is that what it's called? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's something, man.
We get that with Gadget to do a live drawing. Well, a videoed drawing of it.
With all the proportions and stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be something.
Yeah, there you
go. Yeah.
Oh, seems to have gone quiet. It is Free for All Friday, but it's been a big week. I'm okay with ending the weekend with an early one and going into the Discord. Does that sound good for everyone else? It's Free for All Friday. If anybody's got anything they'd like to say, if not, we'll just move over to Discord and go gaming.
Now's your chance, ballers.
Let me get the stream sorted down. I'm good with ending it early. Has been a full-on week. There's been a lot of stuff to go over. And yeah, next week will be much more of the same sort of stuff, but we will start building upon these simple things that we've started from. And I get ready, because obviously there has to be a pushback. Some of the things that we've said about geometric truths, well, they're the things that there has to be a pushback against. We know that. Anybody got any I'll do two conflicting truths, because is another good one. I don't know what happened to Who Will. Maybe it's hiding itself for a reason. Buster. This is Buster and Shane. This one's called Two Conflicting Truths. Only done live so far. Will be a recorded version of this coming out soon. World's famous Buster. And we'll see you on Monday. Unless anything happens during the weekend. You never know. We could go live during the weekend. So see you Monday.
Let's give it a go. Everybody's got a path to choose. You can critically think or give yourself to accepted information too. Well, you got it right. Everybody's got their own way to go. Fast to what you know. Don't let their opinions throw you off. You got to stay the course you're on. You got it right. Everybody's got their own way to go. Comes a time you have to choose. You can't hold two conflicting truths. Eliminate the wrong path to take. You'll find the answers that you need. Contemplate before you make a choice. You got to let your voice be heard. You'll never see this place again. You got it right. Everybody's got their own way to go. There comes a time you have to choose. You can't hold two conflicting truths. Eliminate the wrong path to take. You'll find the answers that you need. Try not to enable their thoughts. They got enough problem with this bridge to cross. No matter what I say, they're doomed. You got it right. Everybody's got their own way to go.